I am making this announcement in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, Laws of the State of New Jersey. The Borough Clerk has prepared a schedule of the meetings of the governing body of the Borough of Kenilworth for the year 2021. The Borough Clerk has posted a true copy of this schedule on the bulletin board located at the front entrance of Borough Hall and has mailed true copies of this schedule to the local source, the Star Ledger, and the Home News Tribune, and is maintaining a copy of this schedule in her office during the year 2021. During the public health emergency caused by the coronavirus, the Borough Council will continue to meet on their regularly scheduled meeting dates at 6 p.m. The council meetings will continue to commence as soon as possible after the work session. Accordingly, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied in regard to this meeting. Please stand for the salute to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Cesari?
Here.
Councilman David?
Here.
Councilman Ladati?
Here.
Councilman Pence?
Here.
Councilman Finestrella and Councilman Puglisi are excused.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor Mr. Sean Kelly. Sean was closely involved with the Kenilworth Fire Department since 2005, earning his firefighter 1 and 2 certification. In the same year, he obtained his New Jersey State EMT certification. With the department, he achieved the ranks of president, lieutenant, and captain of the department. We thank you, Sean, for your service to our borough, and you will be sorely missed, and wish to send our deepest sympathy and love to his family. Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes and work session of council meeting of October 13th?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Cesari, seconded by Councilman David. All in favor?
Aye.
Communications were received from the New Jersey State League of Municipalities. A reminder notice from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection regarding banning of plastic carry-out bags was also received. A letter of appointment and a recommendation for allowance payment number 2 was received from Fire Chief Kruger, and a request from Andrew Gaspar to present his Eagle Scout project was also received, which at the earlier meeting we did discuss he was going to make his presentation this evening, but unfortunately he was unable to, so he will be presenting at the November meeting. And the 2022 construction schedule was received from PSE&G.
Okay, is there a motion to accept communications and reports?
Motion. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Pence, seconded by Councilman David. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'd like to thank everyone who came out to the pumpkin carving event, Carve It Out Kenilworth. We had some really creative pumpkins. I'd like to especially thank our Borough Clerk, Borough Hall staff, and especially Kristen Ragland, Kenilworth DPW, the Kenilworth Police Department, Two-Ton Brewery for providing some pumpkin brew, the Kenilworth VFW, and our Union County Commissioners who all contributed to make the event a success. I hope everyone had as much fun as I did. And also, I wanted to remind everyone that the Farmers Market is still going on every Friday from 12:30 to 6:30 on the boulevard at the Methodist Church lawn. Okay. Finance report, Councilman Ladati.
Thank you, Mayor. The fourth quarter 2021 property taxes are due November 1st with a 10-day grace period. Any payment received after 4:30 p.m. on November 10th will have interest accrued retroactively back to November 1st. The tax finance office will be closed on Thursday, November 11th, in observance of Veterans Day. The deadline for filing your 2020 PTR forms, senior tax freeze, is November 1st. That's a couple of days away, folks, so please, get it together and get your forms in. Any questions regarding the senior tax freeze, please call 1-800-882-6597. If you want to pay your tax bill online, please visit www.kenilworthborough.com. If you'd like to make your payment in person, come down to the tax office. We're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. Or you may use our lockbox located on the finance door to leave your payment before or after hours. Please note, only check payments should be left in the lockbox with your name, address, block, and lot referenced on the check. One thing we was only put out the last couple of days was the homestead rebate. People haven't had that in a while. It's been held in Trenton and not released. This year, they finally put out the forms, and everyone should have received the forms by now, if you're 65 or older. If not, you could apply for a form. You can come to our tax office. The senior tax freeze is for the year 2018, so you had to be 65. Oh, after 2018. It's not, this year's 65, it's 2018, 65, anyway, to get money from us. If you get a rebate and you get your homestead tax rebate, it'll be put on your taxes. It'll be taken away from there on your income tax, and that's how they'll pay you. Not in cash like the PTR. Another thing I want to bring up is Merck. We still we're trying to get a settlement and trying to investigate their tax appeal. And I know I said that it's going to be put on our people, that we're going to have to push the tax dollars onto them, but it's true. It's got to go somewhere. It could go on their services, still hurts our people. It could be added to your taxes, still hurts our people. We don't want to hurt our people, and that's why I've been fighting with our attorneys to make sure their tax appeal fails or is limited in a way that helps our town. So I wish everybody understand that and go forward. And I know our attorney's been working with me, and if he has anything to say, he can say it now, or I think we're okay though. I think I explained everything.
Okay.
Mayor, just as I indicated in the other meeting, our council on tax appeals points out the following critical points. Merck has made 0 demands in terms of any reduction in their tax exposure. So there's nothing to pay because there's been no exposures. They have not sold the property, so we have no way of knowing what may or may not be. Our council, who I have a lot of respect for, says that this is maybe nothing more than just leverage, because when they sell the property, they are looking for a buyback for a portion of the property. I'm not going to get into the legal strategy, but I want to emphasize for the last time, while we sit here today, there is no demand by Merck for any reduction. I'm confident that Bill Ward, who's an expert in this field, will stand up. I don't know that any benefit is due to Merck. We'll see, but at this point, 0 has been requested or demanded by Merck in terms of a reduction.
Okay.
But we'll stay on top of it.
Okay. Is that all?
That's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Ladati. Department of Public Works, Councilman David.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple of things. Leaf collection will start on November 3rd. And with that being said, in an attempt to abide by the New Jersey DEP storm regulations, the DPW is currently starting a pilot program of donating leaf bag distribution. Since the inception, which is about a week ago, they have received a positive response from residents and have distributed a total of 1,620 bags to date. DPW would greatly appreciate it if all our residents would start to bag their leaves instead of blowing them into the street. And you can get these paper leaf bags at the DPW facility, 401 Sheridan Avenue, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2:30, while supplies last. November 6th is the first Saturday of the month, and the DPW yard will be open from 8 to 12, so residents can come in and drop off their recycling items. And the only other thing that I have is 2 weeks ago, we had a resident that lives on North 20th Street who was complaining about a rat problem. Since that night, I told her I would help her out, and I have been going to her property every day, setting traps, and we caught a couple of rats, and we will continue to get rid of them as much as we can, because rats are not good for the community. They're disease prone, and we have to, and we also, I just found out that we do have a borough ordinance on the books that does prohibit residents from having any kind of fowl, which is chickens, pigeons, turkeys, any kind of animals like that, so, which do attract rats and their droppings, and we definitely have to look into that, because that is part of the problem on 20th Street. One of the neighbors has a lot of chickens, which is causing a rat problem. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman David, and thank you for all your efforts in helping this resident
Same here.
rid the rats.
Mark, Pats.
Department, Public Safety, Councilwoman Cesari.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to put a note on to what you said about Carve It Out Kenilworth, it was a good event, and they were very creative. There were no incidents going on, and it was just a nice night out, and there were a lot of people there, so it was nice, you know? Good seeing people like that. Okay, I have received Chief Sousa's report for the month of October. And once again, Kenilworth has continued to be hit with motor vehicle thefts and burglaries. In the last several weeks, the south side of town was targeted, with vehicles broken into on 17th Street and Newark and Trenton Avenues. A vehicle was also stolen from Ridgefield Ave. In all the MV burglaries, the vehicles were unlocked, and the MV theft, the owner left the key fob in the car, so that's a good thing to know. So if you have a key fob, you might want to not keep it anywhere even near a detector, because they have things that could trip them up. On Thursday, October 21st, Kenilworth PD has 132 applicants taking a written exam for a new officer hiring process. The test was administered in 2 sessions, one at 5 and one at 7 p.m. The field of applicants was very diverse and included several town residents. Next step in the process is the PT test, which will be administered on the 28th. Actually, that's tomorrow at David Brearley School Track. Process will conclude with oral interviews the first week of November. And also, as we took a moment of silence, the Kenilworth PD would just like to send their sincere sympathy to the family of Sean Kelly, and that's it. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you,
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Cesari. Planning and Zoning, Councilman Fenestrella is not here. Recreation and Fire, Councilman Pence.
Thank you, Mayor. Fire report. In the month of September, Kenilworth Fire Department answered 67 calls, which included 8 mutual aids, 25 water-related rescues. And for the recreation report, movie night will be on Saturday at the Marriott Park, and trunk or treat on Halloween. The trunk or treat is in place of Blue on the Boulevard. Registration will be open until Friday night through the community pass. The trunk or treat will be in the teachers' parking lot behind Harding between 2 and 4 p.m. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Pence. Health, Education, and Human Services, Councilman Puglisi is not here. Next for council consideration is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ladati, seconded by Councilman Pence.
Resolutions 1 through 8 are listed on the consent agenda and will be enacted by one motion. All items will be reported individually in full in the minutes. Councilwoman Cesari?
Yes.
Councilman David?
Yes.
Councilman Ladati?
Yes.
Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella and Councilman Puglisi are excused. Next up I have is ordinance 2021-16, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2019-05, providing for compensation for borough employees of the Borough of Kenilworth.
Okay, the purpose of this is to fix and determine the salaries, wages, or compensation to be paid to the officers and employees of the municipality whom by law are entitled to salaries, wages, or compensation pursuant to NJSA 40A.9-165. Is there a motion to open the floor for discussion on this ordinance 2021-16 only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ladati, seconded by Councilman David. Does anyone have anything to say on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Please come forward. Okay, seeing no one, is there a motion to close the floor for public discussion on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ladati, seconded by Councilman David. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2021-16 for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ladati, seconded by Councilman David.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2021-16 entitled an ordinance amending ordinance number 2019-05 providing for compensation to borough employees of the Borough of Kenilworth was introduced and approved on first reading at the regular meeting of the Borough Council on September 22nd, 2021, and approved for final passage at the regular meeting of the Borough Council October 27th, 2021, after all persons interested were given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance in accordance with law. Councilwoman Cesari?
Yes.
Councilman David?
Yes.
Councilman Ladati?
Yes.
Councilman Pence?
Yes.
And Councilman Finestrella and Councilman Puglisi are excused. Next up is ordinance 2021-17, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements in the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new communication and signal systems equipment, new information technology equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment, in, by, and for the Borough of Kenilworth and the County of Union, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $3,372,500 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate various grants, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Okay, the purpose of this ordinance is to provide financing for the capital budget plan. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2021-17 on introduction?
Motion.
Second. Motion made by Councilman David, seconded by Councilwoman Cesari.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2021-17 entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new information technology equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment, in, by, and for the Borough of Kenilworth and the County of Union, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $3,372,500 to pay the cost thereof, and to appropriate various grants, to make down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, heretofore introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage, the meeting to be held on November 10th, 2021, at 7 p.m., or as soon as thereafter the matter can be reached, at the regular meeting place of the Borough Council. Be it further directed that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized to publish said ordinance in accordance with law. Councilwoman Cesari?
Yes.
Councilman David?
Yes.
Councilman Ladati?
Yes.
Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella and Councilman Puglisi are excused.
Okay, is there a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman David, seconded by Councilwoman Cesari. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, if anyone has anything to say for the good and well-being of Kenilworth, please come forward and state your name and address.
Rich Pacerno, 241 Fayette Avenue. Good evening.
Good
Mayor and
evening.
Council. Just to pick up on where we left before in the workshop, I would like to address Councilman Ladati's request about the platform. It's a pretty exciting company that is coming in here. It's called Magni. It's an Italian company, and it has the state-of-the-art lifts that they're going to be selling from that location. There's no manufacturing or anything like that out there. But the building is absolutely beautiful. It's done with the Italian flair, all gray, red banding, lighting, landscaping, and the most interesting part, there's no impact to our town. Everything is going to come in off of Route 22. There's an entrance and an egress. The business will not have an impact in town with traffic, and they'll be bringing some new employees into our town. They're coming from Roselle. So it's an exciting company, and we did approve it with conditions. They're coming back to us on the 18th with a new set of things that we're requiring to just make it a seal-type project. So I hope that helps.
Oh, yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent, good news.
I have some questions. I need to put my citizen hat on because I'm seeing some things that are going around town, and I wish Mr. Fenestrella and Mr. Puglisi was here tonight, but Mr. Pence is here who can help that side of things. But I needed to get some questions answered if you could help me out. When the parties go out and put out flyers, they have flyers that when everybody gets into a round table, it doesn't matter what you stand for, Democrat, Republican, Independent, it's agreed by all in that group when that flyer goes out. Otherwise, the flyer would I see the attorney getting ready here, but I would say that it's agreed by all members in that particular party, and they say, yes, this is what we're going to state, and this is what we're going to send out to the public so they can see what our agenda is. Would we agree on that? Whether it be Democrat, Republican, it doesn't really matter. Pretty much, right?
Yes.
So I guess we all have to remember that if you are an elected official, you're accountable for what you say and what you print. So I received a flyer the other day, and pretty much I saw Mary Mickich there and talking about things. I saw Pat Boyle talking about things, and I saw, okay, I'm digesting that. And I also saw another flyer that came out, and it raised my eyebrow, and maybe both. And I need to know, in that flyer, it said that there are 19 new jobs here in Kennewick. I have been coming here quite often, as you know, and I need to know, either from the CFO or council, Democrats, Republicans, and all of us, are there 19 new jobs that are now in Kennewick that I don't know about?
No.
Every job that we have is a backfill for a position that was vacated.
Retired. There've been there are no additional, the flyer said additional 19 employees. That was a lie. That's not true.
So in other words, if the janitor retired or did something like that, we replace them with a
Yes.
janitor.
Correct.
So if we had 100 employees, there's still 100 employees.
Correct.
They're not 119, hypothetically speaking, correct?
Correct.
Actually, DPW is still 3 men short, I think.
Okay.
Or 4 men short. We're not hiring anyone this year, so we're down 4 men, so realistically, we should hire 4.
So
We have less employees
does
technically.
everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Pence, do you agree? I'm asking everyone
I'm
because
gonna tell you this right now.
Yeah.
I kept my nose out of it.
you can't.
I'm not running for council.
Oh, no, you don't
So
have to. You don't have to, I agree.
That's up to them.
So it's up to the people that are not here tonight to defend that statement, and you would speak on their behalf or that party. So what's in that, let me ask you this. So hearing what council and the mayor just said, you're part of council, do you agree or disagree that there's 19 new jobs here in town?
I was on council at the time. They're talking about last year.
Okay. So
I wasn't even on council.
I'm gonna have to side with what I just heard. And I'm making a decision in this upcoming election of how I have to vote, and I have to find out what is the truth, what is fabrication, or what is motivated for another reason. And please, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just need to know what I'm reading is accountable. And I really do wish Mr. Fenestrello was here tonight. The other thing is, I want to know about this $250,000 of increased spending. Can somebody tell me, was there $250,000 of increased spending? Because I have my thoughts on that.
I don't know exactly, I don't have the budget in front of me, but the increase in spending was due to contractual raises for borough employees that get 2% raise, and then some people in the police department, they had moved up to a higher step. So it was in salaries that are contractual. And that increase is every year, not just, it isn't something new. It's been going on. Everyone gets raises every year. It was just, again, put out there as a misleading statement.
Okay, so basically it was just a number that had to be met. It's like
Right.
your 6%
Contractual.
contractual agreements, or
Yep, yep.
whatever the case may be. So to say that we frivolous, not we, to say that this town has spent $250,000 frivolously, nobody has a new car up there, do they?
No,
So we
not anymore, not this
Not
year.
since last year.
that statement has some holes in it? Okay. So, can you tell me a little bit about what happened during COVID-19, during our city hall here, not bringing in revenue, specifically to the hotel occupancy tax? Did we receive any revenue from that?
We've lost a lot of revenue. I don't have the exact number in front of me again, but something to the tune of
67,000?
116, I think I don't know, it was well over $100,000 between the court being closed as well as the occupancy tax at the hotel not being collected.
So we could round up a number, Mayor, like $170,000 or something like that?
I'm not exactly sure, but yes,
It's a big
maybe.
number.
It's at least over 100,000, that much I'm aware of.
So basically what happens, if you lose $170,000 or $100,000, whatever the number is, in revenue, your bill's still come in, and you have to
Right.
pay.
Well, and the
So
money
then
was
what
also
happens?
budgeted into our 2020 budget. So it was money that's collected every year, so it was put into our budget, and then we didn't get it. So it was a shortfall really on both places.
Sure, so there was no frivolous spending then?
No.
Bills were coming in, typical to maybe pensions or whatever it is, retirement packages, you had to find money to pay that, and that would
Correct.
come out of surplus.
Correct.
Okay.
And there was a significant pension buyout as well that
I'm
came out
saying
to
that-
somebody that retired in surplus.
Okay, so I'm saying, I'm asking these questions because I do read all now. I read it from all sides. I do listen to what everybody says. And be it being for one side or another, I really have to evaluate what is being told to me, what is truth and what is fabricated. And I think you've told me the truth tonight, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I would wish that when things are being printed, they would print the truth.
I agree.
Because I don't like what I'm hearing, and I've said this before, and if somebody could produce one of those 19 new jobs, I hired 5 people this past month. We hired 2 machine operators, a guy in the warehouse, and 2 people in the office. I know exactly who I hired. So if you hired 19 people, you would tell me.
Right,
It's
we
that
don't have
simple.
anyone new,
Okay.
unless they're hiding in the closet or they're
Yeah.
ghost,
As a matter
perhaps.
of fact, we, as a council last year,
Yeah.
we decided that, some people were above their pay grade, and it was decided to hold back on raises because, it would have put a hit on our town. So that caused us some problems, but as a council, we took the responsibility to do that.
And I think we've also been proactive in shared services to save money for the
Yes.
borough. We've entered into many shared services, and is a significant savings. So we're doing what we can on our end to,
Well, I appreciate
our
it
budget
very,
in
very
line.
much, and I appreciate your candor. It's very, very difficult to say something like I had nothing to do with it, but I want to have something to do with it. I want to hear what's going on. I want to know where the money is being spent. I contribute quite a bit to our
Absolutely.
taxes and things like that, so I'm glad you cleared it up for me tonight.
thank you,
very much.
Mr. Paserno. Anyone else?
Spot.
Herbert, 14 North 12th Street, good evening again. Mr. Persano brought up a good point about the flyers, so I read them also very thoroughly, because I, do care about the town like Mr. Persano and stay on top of things. I did read Councilman Ladati, one of your flyers, you said that you're saving $50,000 by going to a part-time CFO.
Yes.
Okay, and before I ask you the question, I know of one job out of possibly 19, which we don't, you guys cleared up tonight, they didn't hire 19 more people, but we did create one new job in town, which is a town administrator. We've never had that before.
Correct.
So that's at least one out of the 19. Hopefully that answers your question.
Well, that was actually not last year, it was the year before.
Okay. but
And it was
it's still-
recognizing, we didn't actually hire a new person. We gave the person that was acting as the borough administrator, without any compensation, going above and beyond, we gave her a small stipend to compensate for the time and effort that she was doing in administrative duties. So it wasn't an additional job or anything like that, and it was a small stipend. It isn't, borough administrators cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we've been fortunate for a long time to not have a borough administrator, and having our employees stepping up and filling that role without being recognized or compensated. And I felt that it was time that we did something to give this person what they deserved, even if it was a little stipend, to recognize the work that they were doing that went way above and beyond the scope of what they were hired to do.
Well, I don't disagree with the person has gone way above their duties and, put a lot of time in. I was here during that time when this person was hired and, always done a
They
superb job.
weren't hired, they were already working here.
Superb job. Okay.
We'll
I guess if you look at it that way,
we'll use the correct
I know
verbiage.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We can spin
And I
things.
seen $50,000, but then a $25,000, not saying it's not worth it, a $25,000 increase, so.
Well, you
me,
didn't
last
come and
time
bring
I
this
did-
up last year. I'm finding it interesting because this happened 2 years ago.
Okay, but I'm just saying, talking
I'm
about
confused,
money,
Bob.
listen, you didn't question the last resident, I don't think you should question me.
Well, I'm just saying, I just think it's interesting
All
that
I'm
you
saying
didn't come
is
last
really,
year.
Again, let's get to the point that things are printed and be truthful.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right, and be transparent.
Absolutely,
So if
100%.
we're saving $50,000, but we're paying an additional $25,000 every year, is it really a $50,000 saving? That's all I'm saying. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's a significant savings because if this person did not do the administrative duties they were doing, it would cost us $100,000 to have someone come in and do those duties.
But we never had an administrator in the last 30 years.
Absolutely, and if this person left and we hired another person doing their job, they could say, I'm not doing any of these duties.
Well, they
We've
could
been
say that.
fortunate that this person has been doing it basically for free for a long time.
How about the previous clerks that did the same?
Yeah, and listen, I agree with you. However, this municipality, there's a lot more going on in this municipality than has ever gone before. I've been here for over 50 years. The town has grown and the town has changed in many ways, and the responsibilities in Borough Hall for our employees is significant. And they handle it with a very small crew here, and I'm grateful to all of them.
Okay. Again, just a question.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, I'll entertain a motion to close the floor for public discussion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman David, seconded by Councilwoman Cesari. Does anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the borough?
That's this year.
Okay. If there's nothing else to be brought before the council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ladati, seconded by Councilman Pence. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.